Hey everyone, how are we all doing? I know it's been a minute, but I have been so sick with the flu for a little while now, and I'm finally on the tail end of it, so if my voice sounds a little bit funny, that is why. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Today, we are here to talk about Alien Romulus, so let's get into it. Okay, so the Alien franchise as a whole is one that I particularly enjoy. It's not something where I'm a diehard fan of it, but I do understand why so many people are really passionate about this franchise because the quality is there. Ridley Scott has done some pretty amazing things with this franchise, and so has James Cameron. And now we have Fede Alvarez adding something new to the mix here with Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus is pretty basic with its approach. It does feel very similar tonally and stylistically to the first Alien, except with some new things thrown into the mix that I quite enjoyed with these interesting additions to the lore, as well as some new and interesting creatures that I don't think we've really ever seen before in this franchise. And the first thing that really impressed me about this entry in particular was its production design. Alien has always had a very specific type of production design in all of its films, even when it was trying to do something a little bit more experimental with Prometheus or Alien Covenant. There was still a very clear vision behind its production design. And that is no different here with Romulus. It's very dark, it's very claustrophobic, and it's very dirty and grimy and slimy. It's very gross. It feels like so disgusting to go through, but it adds such a sense of foreboding and atmosphere to this location that I really enjoyed seeing, and it felt very tense at moments. There are some scenes that are designed really well that were very silent and really got a sense of dread out of you as an audience member because of the way these scenes were set up and the way that these creatures are located, with one small thing, one small noise, setting a whole storm of just death heading your way. It was just really well handled in some particular moments. I think the two leads of this film as well are really great for the most part. Alien is known to have pretty great lead characters, and this one is no different. I thought Kaylee Spaney in the lead role was absolutely outstanding in this film. She has just been so great in this recent stretch of films that she's done, starting with Priscilla, then going to Civil War, and now this. She's always doing something very interesting and is showing a lot of range as an actress, and I'm just constantly impressed by her work and am always excited to see what she's going to do next because she's so talented, and the way that she handled this film, excellent stuff. I was just instantly connected to this character because her performance drew me in, as well as some of Fede Alvarez's direction, some of the use of long takes and certain character building in the opening moments of this film were just enough to make me connect and care about some of these characters, which is all that you can ask for in a movie that is designed in the way that Alien is. And by the end of the film, I really bought into the bond that she shared with David Johnson's character, who is another great up-and-coming actor. I really recommend Rye Lane, which is an indie film that he was in, and which he was also outstanding in, and he continues to do some pretty good work here. There were a couple of moments that felt off just because of the type of character that he's playing in this film, and that felt particularly jarring in the opening moments, but as I got more accustomed to this character, it didn't really bother me as much, and he really drew me into some of the shifts that he would have with his character. And the performance, once again, draws you in and helps you connect with the character. And I really, really think that is so important here because with the type of film that Alien is, they're always pretty similar. You know, you have a big group and they're all getting picked off one by one. And obviously the most important characters stick around to the end to face off against the xenomorph or some just dreadful creature that seems so OP and the odds seem so overwhelming and it's filled with tension. This is no different. It really sticks to the typical structure of an Alien movie. And at times I did feel that was a little bit of a drawback because some of the surrounding characters, you just know their fate. by the time that we start progressing through this movie. And because of that, you just don't really care about some of these supporting characters. And I also thought some of the weaker performances were from some of them. You know, a lot of these characters are going through extremely painful situations. There's all this body horror that looks absolutely excruciatingly painful, and some of them just weren't reacting the way that I was expecting. Almost like nothing was happening. You could boil that down to maybe they were in shock or something, but some of it felt so extended that it's like, okay, come on, they must feel something here, and they're just not selling it quite like the scene is really setting it up. Fede Alvarez is doing a lot of work here with this body horror that definitely makes you cringe, definitely makes you feel something and makes you squirm in your seat. But some of these performers just aren't quite selling it at that level, and that almost lets it down a little bit. That doesn't happen all the time, but there were a couple of brief sequences where I did notice that happening, and I just thought it was worth mentioning here. Also, I do have just a couple of issues with the way that xenomorphs are handled within this film. You know, in the Alien universe, a lot of the time, the xenomorphs are just so powerful. It really illustrates how hard they are to kill, and that's what makes them such a menacing threat. You do not want to face this thing head on, because it's just going to kill you straight away. It has so many weapons at its disposal. I mean, they even bleed acid, right? So there's just a lot to just stay away from. And in this, they feel like they're a little bit easier to kill in this movie. And that does feel a little bit more anticlimactic as you get further into the movie, because you know that they're a little bit more easier to kill in this film, rather than some of the earlier Alien films, like the first one in particular, where it was just one xenomorph causing all this havoc. Also, this is becoming the year of really cringy and painful birth sequences. This film is no different. There is a sequence in this film that was just so painful to watch with how it was executed. And once again, I have to give credit to Fede Alvarez for really setting up some tense sequences that look so painful and are worthy of this franchise. I really think that the love he has for these movies is so clearly shown within his direction, and you have to appreciate that passion on screen. And some of the things that he sets up near the end of this movie that are very fresh to this franchise, I really enjoyed. I think that some of the designs for what is going on here were so creepy, and some of the more terrifying moments of the film. And I really loved the direction that it went in, making it feel a little bit more distinguished in the Alien movies, rather than just another Alien movie that feels a lot like the original Alien in the 70s. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think a lot of Alien fans are going to have a blast with this movie. If you've already seen it, you probably have already had a blast with this movie. I've seen a lot of praise for it, and it's very well deserved, because the love is there, the care is there, it sets up some great moments. I just think that it's an overall really solid horror movie that does a lot of things right, even if it does feel a little bit generic at moments. As a score, I'm going to give Alien Romulus a 3.5 out of 5. I think it's worthy of a recommendation. I think it's just a good, solid body horror film, and if you really love Alien, I really don't see how you would not enjoy this movie. It just has so much love here on the screen that I think you're going to have a blast with the type of horror that this movie serves. And those are my thoughts towards Alien Romulus. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm back. I will be trying to do a lot more videos just to catch up, because there has been a lot that I've missed out on because I've just been bedridden, unable to do really anything for the past week and a half. But it's good to be back. I'd love to hear what you've been watching lately. Any recommendations that you might have, please let me know. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.